Siener van Rensburg, a fascinating figure in South African history, made predictions that continue to spark debate today. His insights into the future of the ANC and the political landscape raise questions about truth and deception. Many believe his visions reveal a deeper understanding of societal shifts and the struggles for power. As we unpack these predictions, we'll explore how they resonate with current events and the narratives spun by those in authority. Are we witnessing the fulfillment of his prophecies, or are they merely echoes of a turbulent past? Let's dive into the layers of meaning behind his words and the implications for our future.
People like the ANC telling you that the freedom that you have is not really freedom. Imagine that. 1994 finally came and people were elected into positions of power. They started to loot and destroy. They gave their families and comrades jobs. They failed to perform, and after all of that, they want to tell you that the freedom that you got was not really freedom. The Ramaphosas got rich. The Sahwales got rich. The Mutsepes got rich. The and the Mkizes and many others got rich, but the freedom that you got was not really freedom. They were planted into companies through BEE and they became the directors for the gravy train. They were given government tenders, they looted our taxes, they uplifted themselves, but at the end of it all, the freedom that you got was not really freedom. Instead of investing in the infrastructure, building schools, roads, bridges, libraries, they looted. Instead of taking rural areas and turning them into towns, they left them as villages and they looted. They focus on being given shares in private companies and giving tenders to a few people. So now, instead of realizing and acknowledging that they have failed to deliver, do you know what they started saying? They started saying that the freedom that we got in 1994 was not really freedom. They started to say that we only got freedom to vote, but not the freedom to be rich, all while they and their fellow comrades got very rich.
We fought for our freedom throughout Africa, and we got it. We have democracy. We got the vote, we vote, and it satisfied what you could call a political power. We have got the political power. Freedom, politically, without the economic freedom, it's not a full freedom. It's not.
Imagine that. This is exactly what was wrong with electing people like Zuma. They never knew what makes countries big powerhouses. After failing to build up the minds of the black masses to equip them with critical thinking, skills, and education in order to take care of themselves, they simply believed that economic power should be given to the masses. And because the masses were deprived of quality education, they unfortunately believe the lies. They don't understand that economic wealth is built, not taken. Built, not given. In the eyes of the people like Jacob Zuma and the rest of the ANC and its babies, since the black people occupy political offices, the battle is half won. They believe that in order to win the battle, you have to have black people occupying the offices of Johan Rupert instead of having the vision of becoming their own Johan Ruperts. They want black people replacing white people in their companies instead of opening their own companies. They never understood that freedom is the ability to learn what you want to learn. It's getting the skills you want to have. It's equal opportunities and the best conditions being afforded to all people who are capable. Freedom is the liberty to create whatever product or service you want and sell it to whomever you wish to sell it to, provided that they want it, of course. With that freedom, you can then build your wealth. Freedom is going where you want to go within the confines of the law to get opportunities and offer value to potential customers. With that freedom, you can then build your own wealth. That is how freedom works. The Zumas and the Malemas of the world have never understood that. Many of the people we have been voting for since 1994 failed to be pragmatic. They failed to uplift and empower black people. The things that prosper now among our people people, on music, dance, party lifestyle, and the likes. That is what they've chosen to prioritize. That is what they want Black South Africans to be known for, to be successful in. When I suggest that we as South Africa take lessons from China or America or Singapore, I'm not oblivious to their flaws. I am saying that let us take what is working in these nations, right? I'm not saying that we should be a spitting image of China and copy their communism, disregard the citizens' human rights, and so on. No, I am saying let us see the good there, copy and implement that portion. And what is the good that we can copy from China? The economic reforms. Their never say die drive and attitude. Their culture of family, sacrifice and unity. Let us copy China's willingness to be pragmatic, especially under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping. Copy the pragmatism of Singapore in the era of Lee Kuan Yew. Let us, like these nations, not focus on what we don't have or what we can't do, but rather on what we do have and what we can do.
In 1864, South African visionary Siener van Rensburg was born, and by 1871, he was receiving the first of many prophetic visions. Serving under General de la Rey during the Anglo-Boer War, he famously predicted battles and warned of British atrocities. After World War II, Germany quietly rebuilt, first through industry and commerce, then by reuniting under its economic miracle. Siener foresaw a powerful new German leader, the man in a blue suit, who would openly champion the Afrikaner cause. At the next spring thaw, World War III erupts in Europe. Russia storms west. It seems unstoppable until Germany and America unite, deploy secret groundbreaking technology, and, Siener says, even divine intervention, to halt the advance in France. With brutal speed and terrifying new weapons, Germany exacts vengeance on England, entirely obliterating its power and monarchy. Then, true to century-old treaties, Germany turns south. 5 warships dock at Luderitz, railways are revived, and 3 blue letters force Pretoria's hand. A coup in Cape Town follows. German and Boer forces march in unison, and a new, God-fearing industrial South Africa is born, prosperous, unified, and globally dominant.
Again and regain their freedom. The nation will take their destiny into their own hands. There will be a great silence before the storm. I see a pail full of blood toppling, falling, and from the pail will rise the fear-clear flag, to fly again over a free nation. When will this happen? When people asked Siener for dates, he simply said, "The time and place is known only to the Lord." But there are some indicators. In 1916, he tells his friend, Boy Musman, "There will come a time when I will be once again in the news. In those days, I see we are still fighting amongst ourselves. Then it is over, and we will have a black government. It is then that the Afrikaners' final and fiercest struggle will begin." On his deathbed, he said, "I see the fear-clear flying again. It is God's will. You will fight differently from the way we fought. But there will be more of you this time." And then he said something strange. "This will come to pass when the ice starts melting."
Glaciers are melting at an alarming rate, both in Antarctica and the Swiss Alps. In Switzerland, some glaciers are losing massive chunks of ice every year, reshaping the landscape we've known for centuries. Meanwhile, Antarctica is shedding ice faster than ever, and this isn't just a local issue. It's contributing to rising sea levels that threaten coastal communities worldwide. It's a stark reminder of the climate crisis we face. Think about Greta Thunberg and her urgent calls for action. We can't ignore the science any longer. Our planet is sending us a clear message.
More than a century ago, the South African prophet Siener van Rensburg predicted events that now seem eerily relevant. He foresaw fires in Eastern Europe, a civil war in Russia, and Germany's resurgence as a military power, particularly eyeing Namibia. Fast forward to today, and Germany is heavily investing in Namibian infrastructure, including crucial water projects and the Prieska Railway. With global tensions rising, Germany is strategically positioning itself to secure trade routes, especially if the Suez Canal faces disruptions. Siener even envisioned German warships off Cape Town and ultimatums to the South African government. On his deathbed, he hinted at a revival of Boer identity. Could we be witnessing the unfolding of his prophecies? Namibia is making waves in the energy sector with significant oil and gas discoveries in the Orange Basin. While Shell initially faced setbacks, deeming their finds commercially unviable, other companies like Galp have struck gold, uncovering major deposits. This region is proving to be a treasure trove, rich in resources despite Shell's challenges. The potential here is enormous, and it's exciting to think about how these discoveries could reshape Namibia's economy and energy landscape. The Orange Basin is definitely a hotspot to watch. Germany's claim on Southwest Africa, now Namibia, began in 1884, when it became a German colony. This era was marked by brutal oppression, especially against the Herero and Nama people. From 1904 to 1908, a horrific genocide unfolded, led by General Lothar von Trotha, resulting in the deaths of tens of thousands. By 1915, during World War I, South African forces took control, and the League of Nations later mandated the territory to South Africa. Fast forward to 21, Germany finally recognized these atrocities as genocide, establishing a $1.3 billion fund for Namibia's reconstruction. This painful chapter reflects the dark legacy of colonialism and the ongoing journey toward reconciliation.
In Siener van Rensburg's vision, America emerges from World War III shattered, its troops, homeland, and economy decimated, leaving it too weak to stop Germany's next move. Meanwhile, Germany, bolstered by secret arsenals, groundbreaking allied tech, and, Siener says, divine help, quickly claims victory in Europe. It rebuilds into the continent's undisputed superpower and even retakes its old territories, earning the top seat at the peace table. With its newfound might, Germany seizes the moment to punish England for past wrongs, avenging wartime hangings and historic Afrikaner suffering. England is prophesied to be utterly destroyed, its monarchy cast down forever. And America? Having fought shoulder to shoulder with Germany against Russia, and already betrayed by England's secret pacts with Moscow, it has neither the strength nor the will to intervene. What if a nation's destiny wasn't merely about survival, but about reclaiming lost power and becoming a beacon of stability and prosperity? According to Siener van Rensburg, the Boer nation is destined to rise again, expanding its borders and creating a powerful, God-fearing republic in southern Africa. This is no ordinary expansion. It's a vision rooted in divine purpose and historical mission, a future beyond tribulation. Van Rensburg's prophecy begins with immense struggle. The Boer nation endures trials and tribulations, but these challenges serve as a purification process, preparing them for their ultimate destiny. Only after the devastation of World War III does the Boers' northward expansion take shape, marking the beginning of a new era for the Afrikaner people. Reclaiming former colonies. The vision sees the Boers annexing territories once under British colonial rule, including northern and southern Rhodesia, modern-day Zambia and Zimbabwe. This shift occurs as the British Empire collapses, creating an opportunity for the Boers, aided by Germany, to reclaim these lands. What was once British territory becomes part of a flourishing Boer republic, a symbol of restoration and resilience. This is seen as a divinely ordained destiny for the Afrikaner people, a restoration of their rightful inheritance and a fulfillment of their historical mission, a haven for refugees. The expanded republic isn't just about territorial gain, it's a safe haven. As chaos spreads across the globe, white settlers fleeing instability, communism, and black rule in other African nations seek refuge within the Boer Republic. Van Rensburg's prophecy describes this state as a beacon of stability, offering order and security in a world descending into turmoil. Securing the new borders. This newfound power doesn't come without challenges. The expanded Boer Republic must defend its borders against hostile forces. Van Rensburg foresaw joint Boer and German commandos patrolling the vast territory, ensuring the safety of its citizens and maintaining order. It's a vision of strength and vigilance, a republic determined to safeguard its people. Unprecedented prosperity and growth. In Van Rensburg's prophecy, this new republic isn't just secure, it thrives. Fueled by the region's abundant natural resources, the Boer Republic becomes a global economic powerhouse, even surpassing the United States in industrial capacity. Massive factories rise, immigrants flock to the country for its economic opportunities, and the Republic becomes a hub of innovation and development. It's a vision of a nation not just surviving, but leading on the world stage, a spiritually reborn nation. At the heart of this vision is a spiritual revival. Van Rensburg described a united, God-fearing nation led by a righteous and visionary president. A single unified church symbolizes the spiritual unity of the Afrikaner people, and traditional Boer values form the foundation of the new society, a return to dominance. This prophecy reflects more than territorial expansion. It's a return to Afrikaner dominance in southern Africa. After decades of marginalization, the Boers reclaim their lost power and establish a republic that embodies their values and aspirations. What does this mean for us? Van Rensburg's vision is both a prophecy and a challenge. It speaks of resilience, faith, and the ability to overcome immense trials to achieve a greater destiny. But it also raises questions about identity, power, and what it means to fulfill a divine purpose. What do you think? Could this vision be a roadmap for the future? Comment, like, and follow for more.
If this was, I'm going to use this word predicted for lack of a better word. This is not prophecy, but prediction. If this was predicted 27 years ago, somebody knew something. Okay, here's the list. This is an abbreviated list. I could have made it much longer. You know I can. I didn't. Okay, you ready for the list? Fast mutating viral disease pandemics. Genetically developed vaccines. Smart IDs. 1997! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scream, but, just make sure none of you are nodding off, because the eyes get heavy and... DNA database tracking. DNA chips. Get this one. 1997. Gene-based pharmaceuticals. Transmitting genetic instructions for a disease process. How about this one? You ready for it? Wait for it. Artificial intelligence to determine gene patterns. 27 years ago, who had heard about AI? Apparently they had. How about this one? Robots for doing genome sequencing. And then this one blew me away. Using recombinant DNA for making spike proteins. 1997? It gets even worse. Smart homes. They have a whole chapter on smart homes / smart cities. This one will absolutely floor you. It did me. In 1997, and this is, you can do the word search and research yourself. They predicted, not 2025, but by 2020, that people would be working from home virtually. Come on. Listen, that's, I mean, how do you know that? Because you're the one who did that. World War III, of course. nuclear devices causing widespread contamination, nanotech devices, this stuff was never even heard of, digital currency, and last but certainly not least, vaccination programs. I'm sorry, I got to chuckle, because if I don't, I'll cry. Vaccination programs run by organizations like the World Health Organization for a global killer that has yet to emerge. Wow. First printing, February 1997.
The world we live in is far more complex than we often realize. Behind the scenes, powerful groups have been working to manipulate economies and destabilize nations, all in pursuit of their own agendas. It's a sobering thought, but understanding this reality can empower us. By recognizing these influences, we can begin to challenge the status quo and advocate for a better future. Knowledge is our greatest weapon against the forces that seek to divide us. So let's stay informed, stay engaged, and work together to build a world that reflects our shared values.